What's up, America? This is Kim.
And Neil from Geauga Firearms Academy.
Today we're going to talk about what a CCW class is and what a CCW class isn't.
So let's get started. All right, so one thing I want to note up front, because I get lots of comments on it. Okay, here's the deal, you guys. Certain agencies and departments require that you have no beard, okay? And so because of that, I'm occupationally required to not have a beard. So you guys love it, appreciate the comments, but just so that we're clear, that's why there's no beard. And no, it's not coming back anytime soon. And I do like it better with a beard, but it is what it is.
Okay? It wasn't me.
The way we see it, there's really three categories that we can really talk about. One is, of course, educational courses. Two is practice. And three is training. And they're all distinctly different and all very necessary. Okay? So let's talk about the first one, because that's really what your CCW class is.
It's an educational course.
So before we get into the very first one, let's just talk about this. I think most of this is because we live in Ohio. So Ohio actually has one of the most comprehensive CCW courses out there. It's an 8-hour course. So I'm talking from some of the most robust of courses. There's going to be some states that have no requirement at all, constitutional carry and whatnot. We'll talk about that in a minute. But it doesn't really make any difference what state you live in, what your requirements are. Any type of class on this type of level, whether it be gun safety or what have you, we really want to understand what it is and what it is not, okay? So, Kim, why don't you tell them about an educational course?
Yeah, CCW class or CHL class is an educational course. It's there to teach you gun safety and the fundamentals of shooting.
And of course, the fundamentals are important. I've said this a million times in every class. It doesn't matter whether what level of class you're taking from me, whether we're using low light, going down a hallway. It doesn't make any difference. Whether you're the SWAT team leader or the guy who's never picked up a gun before, you've got to do the same fundamentals, which is to line your sights up, press the trigger without misaligning the sights. Okay, so that's key, and that's never going to change. And a lot of these classes do a good job of that.
Yes.
Okay.
Two of the biggest mistakes we see people make is they go out and they buy their first gun, and they think, oh, now they're protected, like it's garlic.
It's a force field from evil.
It's going to protect them somehow. And then the other mistake...
Wait a minute, before you go further, not only do they have the gun and it's somehow going to protect them, but wherever the gun is will protect them. For example, they left it in their glove box because you're a moron, and then you went outside and changed the tire, right? And then something bad happens, or you go outside to do something. Like, that's not going to work. It doesn't run into your hand. Just throwing that one out there. Sorry, go ahead.
The other mistake people make is that they take a CCW class and then they think that they've had firearms training.
Yeah, so if we went into a class right now and said, okay, everybody raise your hand if you've had firearms training, right? There's 100 people. Let's just assume those 100 people all had a
CCW.
They would all raise their hand and go, me, right here. And I'll say, except for CCW. And then there's like no hands up, or one or two. And generally it's some basic course, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. But we just have to understand where this all comes together, right?
That's right. The only way your CCW class is an actual training is if they have an additional day that's, above the requirements, and they take you out on the range and they just focus on training and not the, rules and safety and things like that.
And there was a key word, training. So let's talk about that, because again, remember from the beginning, educational course, practice, and training, right? And people get it all convoluted. So let's clear it up.
So now we went over educational courses, which are required by the state. And now let's talk about the difference between training and practice.
All right. Now, people get the two confused. They go to the range and they're like, oh, I had a great training session. Well, that's not training. Going to the range and shooting, not training.
On a line.
Yeah, in the phone booth, right? And don't get me wrong, there's nothing bad with that, but there's a difference between training and practice. So when you go to a quote-unquote training class, when you actually learn a skill, right? So you came to us and you learned like a holstering class, right? How to actually, by the way, most ranges won't even let you draw from a holster, let alone put that in their curriculum for CCW. But anyway, so, which is a big part of carrying a gun, by the way, would be being able to holster and unholster. So when we talk about you come to a holster class and you learn how to do that, right? It doesn't matter that you, at that moment, right, may have that skill. Like you went, oh, I get it now. I can do this. And at that moment, you can, okay? That's the training portion. It's we're basically planting the seed, right? And all skills are perishable, right? If Kim and I stop shooting 2 years from now, I mean, come on, that's a joke. We'll be a fraction of where I once was, right?
That's right.
And we're always trying to hone our skills and get better, and we will continue to do that forever until we're no longer here. So, what's the hard part in the equation, Kim?
It's actually taking what you learn in training and practicing it.
Ah, there's that word. Practicing.
Practice.
Right. So it's not enough to practice. We can't skip the step of training because there's education, there's the training, and then there's the practice. We can't skip that one because then what are we really practicing? Who knows? I don't know. Kim's got that blank look like, I don't know what to say here. We don't know what we're practicing because maybe it's some BS we saw on TV, you know, the old cup and saucer. Okay? It's for my stash. Cup and saucer. Or we could talk about this ridiculous draw or whatever. We're just rushing it, go fast. But at the end of the day, we're not really getting better at something that it has value. That's going to give us the most level of effectiveness and efficiency because we don't know what we're doing, right?
That's right.
Apply it to cars, right?
Like take driving, for example. You wouldn't just give your 16-year-old the keys and then send them out and they're like, well, they watched a YouTube video or they've seen it on TV. You think they're going to do really well? Or maybe they just had one driving lesson and you're going to send them out. It would be better if they had one driving lesson, then they went and practiced a bunch what they learned and then had a follow-up lesson to practice new skills.
Excellent analogy. I like it.
So we hope from this video you learned the difference between an educational course, training, and practice. And that you learn that just taking an educational course doesn't cover all those things and it doesn't make you ready to really run out there and put a gun on and you're ready to rock and roll.
At all.
So find competent instructors in your area.
By the way, hold on. I'm talking to you, will never come and see us. I get that. And how do I know that? Because 99.99% of everybody who's a subscriber, over 50 grand of subscribers and however many of these years from now, this is not like, oh, come see us. Like, I would love y'all to, but realistically, this is for your information, for wherever you live. Take it and apply it, okay? Super important. So it's not like a sales gimmick here. We want you to actually get training in your area. And there's always competent people in every area. I mean, unless you live in
we want you guys to be safe. We want you to, handle your gun properly. And then if you ever did have to use it, you can do it properly and keep yourself safe, keep everyone around you safe.
Yeah, and here's the thing, you guys. Like, I don't care what you guys do at a range. I want you to understand this point. And this is really key in all my classes. I don't care how well you shoot. I see lots of people who are excellent line shooters. They're people that come in regularly. I mean, weekly, right? They're members, they come in weekly and they shoot. I could put a target 10 feet, 25 yards. It won't make a difference. They're going to do really, really well, all right? And they can do whatever they want on the line because they're in the box. Like I call it, like the phone booth I always refer to. They're in this shooting booth. I don't care. There's no stress involved. I've not once seen anybody get their butt kicked by the paper target, ever, okay? Nothing bad is going to happen. You could drop your gun on the ground. You could totally flub you could not even know how to really reload your spouse, huh?
Yeah.
Right? Your spouse, how many times have we seen that?
Yeah.
Could be loading the magazine for you.
There's all these women, they're like, the husband's coming like, oh, my wife knows how to shoot. They're great. And then we have them go up to the line and we're like, okay, load your gun, let's go. And they're like, aren't you going to do this for me? And it's like, no, you need to do that yourself.
And so the whole point is it doesn't matter at the range. They can do that all day long. But in real life now, when we're talking about real stress, and we're not talking about, all right, 7 yards. Here we go. Remember the grip? I'm kidding. So you don't have that time. It's a lot of times this close. You got to make it happen, okay? So in that case, and we've got to be paying attention to surroundings and a whole bunch of million other things that come together. That's what we're actually getting training for, okay? And then you can tell the small percentage of people who have actually had training because they practice, ready, differently than everybody else.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because they actually have some tangible skills that they learned from somebody, and they're taking that and they're honing those skills rather than sitting there and shooting at the piece of paper in a perfect environment. Okay? So for nothing else, for your own self, can you remember the people that are all around us, right, that have CHLs? Mm-hmm. Well, you answer this one. How much training do you think the people around you have, realistically? In any given state, at any given time, people with guns?
Very little, like 5% or something like that.
I think with 5% is probably 4% too high. Okay,
Yeah.
seriously. Except for, I went to the CCW class.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
We hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, please give us a thumbs up. We always appreciate that. Of course, share this video. You can find us here on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and click the little bell next to it. So every time we put a video out, you'll know about it. You can find us on Facebook, on Instagram, and we put all our premium content on Patreon. Until next time, remember, it's always better
to be judged by 12 than carried by 6.